Hi everyone, we are the Ohm Sweet Ohm team. Follow us as we try to change the lives of Alice and Bob. Alice and Bob are a French middle-class couple who live in a 30 square meter apartment in Palaiseau, near Paris. They drive to work every day, 15 kilometers away from home. They also use their car to go on vacation to Marseille once a year and to Brest twice a year, as well as for small trips. This couple has an energy consumption of 4,800 kWh for their home and 8,000 kWh for their car, which corresponds to the average French consumption. Their objective to reduce their consumption by 40% over the next 10 years. But how to do it? One solution? Ohm Sweet Ohm. We have set up 3 different scenarios adapted to all situations. Small budgets, no remote working, and no carpooling. Let's start with the recommendations that apply to all scenarios. In the first year, it is essential to sell unnecessary or inefficient appliances and replace them with more energy-efficient ones, like a Class A refrigerator. Like many households, they also use an energy-intensive clothes dryer. Finally, some other non-essential appliances can be sold, such as a treadmill. With these actions, from the first year, our couple makes an initial gain of 400 euros, annual electricity savings of 130 euros, and reduce their energy consumption by 7%.
Let's now look at other general solutions our couple can put in place within 2 years. Using a water-saving valve system, our couple can reduce its water and energy consumption. Making a small compromise on heating can also help. A room temperature of 19 degrees Celsius in winter is already a great start. With these 2 simple things, our couple will save 190 euros yearly, as well as save 5% more of energy. Now, let's look at our first scenario, small budgets.
Alice and Bob can work from home or do carpooling as 2 simple and efficient ways to reduce the car use.
Besides, you might meet great new friends doing so. Taking the train once a year to go on holidays can reduce car-related energy consumption. Now, let's look at 2 more scenarios, if working remotely is impossible, or if carpooling cannot be done. In that case, investing to renovate windows to improve thermal insulation can help. Besides, state aids exist to reduce the cost of this investment. By taking the train for all their holidays trip, our couple will compensate for the lack of remote work or carpooling.
By following this roadmap, our couple can achieve within the 10-year period the 40% reduction goal. Following the small budget scenario can help them achieve a 43.3% reduction comparing to their actual consumption, whereas the no remote working scenario can lead to a result of minus 41.4%. Finally, with the no carpooling scenario, they can achieve up to a 45.3% reduction overall. To sum up, Ohm Sweet Ohm offered to Alice and Bob a solution that is rather flexible and applicable to different situations, that is socially and economically acceptable, and last but not least, which puts the effort where there is most impact. As you can see, saving energy and therefore saving the world doesn't have to cost a fortune. Little changes can indeed lead to important savings.
Hey, we are the Power of Team, and we want to show that changing of behavior is an easy and economical way to save energy and live a better life. It's the story of a household which drinks too much coffee. They go to bed late and wake up early to go to work, so they always feel tired during the day and need caffeine to stay awake. One day, they decide to stop their addiction, live a healthy life, and, in the same way, save the world. But how? That's easy. They go to bed 1 hour earlier. That means switching off lights at 10 and stopping binge-watch series until 11. So in the morning they feel better and need no more coffee. They take a glass of water or juice instead. It's better for health and it's good too. They take the car to go to work, but they bring their bikes to ride when they arrive in town to do some sport. It's good for health too. After work, sometimes they stay in town to do some shopping instead of spending hours in traffic jams on Saturdays to go to the mall. On those days, they come back home a bit later, so they eat a cold meal because it is faster, it's easier, and it saves the energy of electric plates and the oven. Cold meals are tasty too. Think about gazpacho, tabbouleh, tiramisu, chocolate mousse, truffles, red fruit charlotte. By the way, let's talk about their menus. Forget the deep frozen ready-made junk dishes. They have no freezer anymore. Now they cook fresh and off-season. Coming back to dinner, bye-bye TV news during the meal. Welcome the good old newspaper. It consumes less energy and they can share it with their neighbor. It's a good opportunity to say hello and what's up. And after dinner, nothing better than a cold shower in summer to refresh and relax. It's also good for skin and the entire body. And it's good for the water heater too. And if they lower the room temperature and cocoon with that nice sweater they were offered at Christmas by their grandparents, the convector will thank them, and their grandparents too. But, will you tell me, it seems really nice, but it's not realistic. You can't transform a couch potato that spends his days watching series on his laptop into a superhero that goes to bed early, does some sport to go to work, takes cold showers and saves the world. In 1 week, certainly not, but in 10 years. Did you know that motto? Don't overestimate what you can become in the short term, but don't underestimate what you can become in the long term. I think it's quite true. For example, imagine that once a week they decide to watch one last series episode, then twice a week, then 3, 4, 5 times a week. That's how you reduce by 40% your energy consumption and how you slowly transform a couch potato into a superhero. And that's not the end. If you change the power of your appliances, you can save even more. You can act on their efficiency, for example buy a Class A refrigerator instead of a Class G when you need to replace it. But it often costs more. If you have little money, you can also adjust the appliances to your needs. You really need a super mega internet box that has very high internet speed if you only use it to watch series online. Making smart choices like these will be good for your wallet and for the world. Do this and you can reach more than 50% of energy savings. Moral of the story: change your behavior, change your appliances, and you'll save the world. Happy end.
Once upon a time, Jean and Michel were living happily in a small house in Aix-en-Provence. But one day, the ecological police, headed by Professor Dobrinsky from CNRS, knocked at their door for an inspection. At first, Jean and Michel were confused. They panicked. But one day, they heard about Energize Savings, and they called them instantly. Heating is one of your biggest enemies, and just by having a better home isolation would give you an improvement of 40%. If you turn off the radiator when you don't really need it or during vacations, you could cut the consumption by almost half. And by the way, the government would fund you. To heat your water, it would be much more efficient to use a solar heater, which can be bought or even done by hand.
When it comes to your fridge, you should play on thermodynamics. It can give you up to 43% improvement. Putting your fridge in a room colder by 2 degrees, raising the temperature inside your fridge and freezer by 2 degrees would be efficient. Also, during winter, all the food in your fridge can be preserved outside. You just have to buy a cheap vintage fridge and cut the electricity from the other one.
The dishwasher and the washing machine face the same problem. You don't wait until they are full to use them, and they are often used at high temperatures. For the kitchen, for an improvement of over 14%, you will have to put a lid on your cooking pot, use a kettle to boil water, defrost the material before cooking, and try to prepare 3 dinners one time instead of cooking every day.
Turn off your multimedia equipment when they are not used. Prefer a laptop than a desktop. Prefer not to plug your phone or computer all the night long.
Abandon the polluting car that make you guilty for so many years and buy an electric one. You'll save a lot of money in oil and maintenance. Try carpooling. This will highly divide your consumption and spendings in a friendly atmosphere.
The solutions we provide can allow you to reduce your energy consumption by more than 70%, but after a while, you might forget or stop to apply them. But we have the solution for you. The Energize Savings app, based on AI, will provide you accurate advice without needing technical installation. It will give you some alerts about your waste of energy. It will enable you to challenge your friends. So saving energy will actually become a game, and you will meet your commitments.
10 years later, Professor Willem did another inspection. He was amazed by how John and Jennifer could do that. He gave them the ecological certificate and they lived happily ever after. By implementing these simple and practical solutions, you could get your ecological certificate too. We can all do our part in reducing our energy consumption and living a more sustainable lifestyle. Remember, small changes can make a big difference in the long run. So let's take an action today and start energizing savings in our homes.